So I have a friend who, when she was about 12, she went to her pastor and told her pastor that she was experiencing anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts. And her pastor said, well, the only answer to this is to pray and fast. And if you see a mental health professional, you'll be lacking faith in God. You know, only 31% of people agree that their church is ready to support mental health. And in the US alone, over 300,000 churches have no one on staff accessible, trained to help people with a mental illness. And that's why we created the Sanctuary course. The Sanctuary course is like a mental health alpha course that integrates theology, psychology, and real people's stories. And it helps the church to become a safer place for people in crisis. It helps the church to know what its role is and what its role isn't when supporting people. After all, when Jesus says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened," he wasn't excluding people with anxiety, depression, or schizophrenia. The church should be the safest place people turn to in their hour of need, as it always has been throughout history. At every point of societal need in history, the church has been there. And where is it in the mental health space? You know, one of the problems is when we talk about mental health in our culture, people really talk about it just from a medical perspective, which means we focus on symptom reduction, which is really important. But there are other things to talk about, and the church has some really unique gifts to offer this space. The church is a sleeping giant in addressing the mental health needs of our society. See, I believe the mental health space is desperately in need of some theologically rooted disruption that offers a redemptive framework for people in crisis to know they are more than a diagnosis. They're more than a medical problem to be fixed by medical practitioners alone. They are beloved children of God, worthy of a community, and their story counts in God's wider redemptive story. You know, the good news is our resources, including our youth series that we launched just a few months ago, have been used in over 100 countries. And the Sanctuary course alone has been used by over 360,000 people. That is with no marketing budget, that is with no marketing team. It's just from a whole lot of Pitbull-like grit. So it's time for this organization to scale. We are at an inflection point. We truly are. There's nowhere else for us to go. And at the heart of this transformation that needs to take place is building a sustainable funding engine for the organization and for us to create what we call Sanctuary Studios. Sanctuary is a film-based storytelling organization. These are some of the stories we've told over the years. We have hundreds of hours that we haven't told yet because we don't have capacity. So for us to build Sanctuary Studios will mean that we can go from reaching 300,000 people to tens of millions of people in the next 3 years. And we can do that because we have some amazing partners that are saying, Sanctuary, give us content. People like YouVersion, Jesus.net, Creator, Life Church's Open Network. They're queuing up. They want content from us. We don't have capacity. And if we do this, we believe we can step into a gap that currently exists for a trusted organization to hold space for the church in the intersection of faith and mental health, to help the church find its voice. We believe for such a time as this, Sanctuary has been called to step in. Now, to make all of this happen, we need $4.6 million of new investment over the next 3 years. Let's end with a better story. I know a young lady who recently did the Sanctuary course in her small group, and shortly after completing it, she was actually hospitalized, placed on a psych ward. She lives with bipolar disorder, and she was having a tough time. After 3 days of being there, a nurse on the psych ward said to her, "Hey, you've had more visitors than everyone else on this ward combined. Who are these people coming to see you every day?" And she said, "That's my church small group." She emailed us to tell us, she said, "The Sanctuary course gave my small group permission to hold hope for me when I couldn't hold it for myself." Now imagine if we could mobilize the whole body of Christ the world over to do that for themselves and for their communities. We may just move the needle on this global crisis. You know, when people think of evangelism, they think of Alpha. When they think of the Bible, they think of the Bible Project. And when they think of mental health, they need to think of Sanctuary. And we have to move now. We are 20 years behind this conversation. This is happening on our watch. And this is the first time in history I think the church doesn't have compelling answers for this global crisis. Praxis community, please help me. We can fix this. Together we can do this. So please join us and help us to make the church the safest place for mental health. God bless you.